Okay, this is just an overview on Google Slides. So the Google Slide app is this one down here in the tray, this yellow one that you see. So you find your Google Slides app and open it. And then you'll see down here in the bottom right hand corner there is a rainbow colored plus sign. Click on that and you have two options. One is choose template and the other one is new presentation. We will almost always do new presentation. So click on that. And the very first thing in our new presentation is to name the file. Now, you should know by now, but I'll go over this again. A good file name always tells you whose file is this and what is it. So, the first part of a good file name will be your last name. And then the second part will be what is this or what assignment is this for. So since mine is just an overview, I'm going to name it Overview. And then click Create. Now, we need to talk about what you're seeing in your screen. We basically have three parts. You got this little part going across the top. You got the little window, the little pane over here on the left-hand side, and then the main part of your screen is your work area or your slide. So up here at the top, you see at the top, it's the file name, Fletcher Overview, and then you see seven buttons at the top right. The arrow pointing backwards to the left, that is undo. The one next to it is redo. The next one is the play button, and what that is for is when you're done with your slide presentation and you think you've got it all ready to go and you want to view it as how it will be shown to an audience, you click that play button. It's also called the present button. Okay, the next one is a person with a plus sign. That is your share button. The next plus sign is insert. The next one is how to add a comment if you're giving a comment to somebody else's slide presentation that they shared with you and asked you for feedback. And the last one, the three dots. In all Google apps, the three dots means more. Okay, so that is the top part of your window. Over here on the left, you see a little skinny pane, and there is a 1 in a yellow cloud. That means I have one slide in this presentation, and the yellow cloud means that's the one I'm looking at. At the very bottom of that navigation pane is what that's called. You see a slide with a plus sign on it. That's how you add another slide. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll see that there are 11 types of slides here that you could choose from. I'm just going to click this big number slide, and notice that we now have two slides, and the yellow cloud is around the second one. If you wanted to see the first one, just click on it and you go back to the first one. So that's the navigation pane on the left-hand side. Now, the main part of your window is the slide that is selected over in the navigation pane. And you'll see that every single time you open a new presentation, you get a title slide. And a title slide is what you're looking at right now. There are two text boxes. You may not leave a text box empty on any slide presentation. You either have to put something in the text box or you have to delete the text box. So it tells you what to put in there. Double tap to add a title. So if we were going to really do a presentation today and it was about dogs, I would double tap that and I would type in capital D, dogs. And then you see the other one says double tap to add a subtitle. I would click on that and I'd say dogs are excellent, because they are. Okay, now if you weren't going to use that subtitle box, you'd have to click on it and delete it. You cannot leave a text box that just says click here to add text, because that's just really tacky. Okay, and what kind of slide you would add will depend on what kind of information you have, and we'll get more into that in our first and second project. So now when we have our slide, we're not really ready to view it or look at the presentation yet, because we just have one slide and it just says dogs. But if we go over here to your plus sign, your insert, this is where you can start adding things. You could add a comment, you can add a text box right there, you can add an image or a shape or a line or a table or a link. And we have projects in our curriculum for the next grading period where we'll learn how to add all those things. If you wanted to share this with a friend of yours or me, but probably not, you would click on, and if you wanted feedback or somebody asked you to give feedback, this is how you do it. You click on the comments, and then you would type in your comment, and that person would get your comment that says, oh, it looks great, or oh, you misspelled dogs, or whatever the comment is. Over here on the 3 dots, we won't use this much. The more this share and export would be about the only thing that I would bring to your attention there on that. You can also turn on guidelines there if you wanted to make sure that you were getting things centered on your slide. You can turn those on, but that you probably wouldn't use those very much. Okay, so a couple things about your slides. When you select, like our text box, you notice this new toolbar came across the top, and this is very, very similar to what you learned in 4th grade in Google Docs. So our text right there, we can cut, copy, paste, delete, insert a link, or add a comment, but up here at the very top we can make that bold. See how it just changed it? Here, I'll turn it off. I'll unselect it, then we can make that bold, we can make it italics, underline, we could strike through. I don't know why you'd want to do that. You could change the color of the text. You can change this. This next one is the highlight, so the area around the back of the text. We don't use that very often. Okay, the next 3 buttons are your centered, your alignment button. So if you click on this one, it moves your text over to the very left-hand side of your text box, center like it was originally, and way over on the right. The next 3 buttons are also alignment, but it's your vertical alignment. So right now it's at the very bottom. We could click that one and make it be in the center of the box as far as up and down, or at the very top of the box as far as up and down. The next 2 buttons, we'll get to those. The paint bucket, if we wanted to fill that entire box, the entire text box with color, that's the paint bucket. If we wanted to change the border weight of that text box, notice the pixels are increasing and the weight of the border is increasing. You also could change the border style. You can make it dots if you wanted to. So there's lots of formatting that you can do on your slide. I don't recommend doing a whole bunch of stuff because it gets very distracting for the person that's trying to view your presentation. Okay, so now let's talk about presentation. Presentation software, which is what Google Slides is software that allows you to give your idea or give your message to people visually. So you're going to use this either to send it and they're going to watch this presentation, or you're going to project it with the Apple TV or with a computer, a projector. Okay, this is not about a whole lot of words and you're going to type a report about dogs. If you're going to type a report about dogs, you should use Google Docs or Microsoft Word, because that's the right tool for the job. This presentation software is when you're going to present the same information maybe, but you're not going to use a great deal of words. You're going to use videos and pictures and graphs and illustrations to give the information to your audience or whoever it is that you're trying to teach. Sometimes I might call Google Slides PowerPoint. Google Slides are made from Google, and PowerPoint is made from Microsoft. Slides and PowerPoint are both presentation software, and frankly, if you can learn to use Slides, you'll be most of the way down the road on using PowerPoint also. They're very, very similar, just one is made by Google and the other one is made by Microsoft. We used to use Microsoft PowerPoint, but Google Slides is free. So if I ever slip up and say PowerPoint, really I mean Google Slides. So that is an overview of Google Slides.